Okay, this begins the March 16th meeting of the Fall River Traffic Board. Before starting the meeting, I'm going to read the open meeting law. Pursuant to the open meeting law, any person may make an audio or video recording of this public meeting or may transmit the meeting through any medium. Attendees are therefore advised that such recordings or transmissions are being made, whether perceived or unperceived, by those present and are deemed acknowledged and permissible. The first item on the agenda is any citizen input. This doesn't pertain to Atlantic Boulevard. Is anybody here for a complaint or anything they'd like to bring before the traffic board that was not put on the agenda? Okay, no citizens input. Next item on the agenda is the approval of the meeting minutes from this February 16th meeting. I make a motion that we approve the meeting minutes from the previous meeting.
Second.
Ellen seconds the motion. Anyone opposed? Madam Clerk, can you do roll call, please?
Approval of the February minutes, Helen,
Yes.
Natalie,
Yes.
Sergeant Dolan,
Yes.
and Officer Farris.
Yes.
Okay, the meeting minutes for the February meeting have been approved. Next on the agenda is curb cuts, and the loan application for curb cut is for 452 Oak Grove Avenue. Gentleman right here. I saw the property and the diagram. The current driveway is at 15 feet, 8 inches. He'd like to remove 10 feet and 4 inches to make it a total of 26 feet across. This has no effect on the neighborhood parking. The driveway kind of looks like it was made that, it should have been that way in the first place.
Yeah, I never wanted to cut the trees down, so I've been
I
driving
figured
around,
that.
but they're dead now.
So I have no problem at all with this. I make a motion that we approve the curb cut at 452 Oak Grove Avenue. Natalie seconds it. Anyone opposed? Madam Clerk, can you do roll call, please?
Approval for curb cut at 452 Oak Grove Avenue, Helen,
Yes.
Natalie,
Yes.
Sergeant Dolan,
Yes.
and Officer Farris.
Yes.
Okay, sir, it's been approved.
We can go?
Yes, sir.
Thank you,
That
sir.
was quick.
Thank you, everyone.
You're welcome.
Okay, next on the agenda are two tabled requests from the February meeting. The first is an application for a handicap parking space at 162 Tremont Street. 162 Tremont. Okay, they're not present. For the second time, I make a motion to deny the handicap parking application at 162 Tremont.
Second.
Ellen seconds it. Anyone opposed to denying the application? Madam Clerk, can you do roll call, please?
Motion to deny application 162 Tremont Street for no-show second time, Helen,
Yes.
Natalie,
Yes.
Sergeant Dolan,
Yes.
and Officer Farris.
Yes, denied.
Okay, 162 Tremont Street is denied. Next is another tabled item for a resident for 138 Blackstone Street. Woman's there. Where are my notes? Okay, I've got it as, it's a multifamily residence, there is no driveway even available. Is there already handicap space in front of that house now?
It is one for the front,
And you would like an additional one there?
yes.
Okay. I make a recommendation that, I make a motion that we approve another handicap parking space in front of 138 Blackstone.
Okay.
Officer Farris seconds it. Anyone opposed to approving that one? Madam Clerk, can you do roll call, please?
Approval for handicap space at 138 Blackstone Street, Helen,
Yes.
Natalie.
Yes.
Sergeant Dolan,
Yes.
Officer Farris.
Yes.
Okay, 138 Blackstone Street's approved.
Thank you.
Hold on, ma'am. I'm gonna, anybody else that's here for a handicap application, I'm gonna tell her this so you can all hear it too. The police department gets a lot of calls from people that say, somebody's in my handicap spot. You may have a neighbor someday that has a handicapped friend that's visiting them or whatnot. If they have a handicap placard and they're parked in that handicap spot, they're legal. It's not against the law for them to park there. It happens a lot of times if you live near a variety store or something like that. You might have a car on occasion in your spot. As long as they have a placard, it's legal. If they don't have a placard, of course, you're free to call the police department and make the complaint.
Okay, what about when it snows, they just park there?
If they don't have a placard, they can't park there.
Okay, great.
You wanna give her an idea of the
Sure.
timeframe?
When applications for a handicap spot are approved through the traffic board, then from here, the maintenance crew will go to each location and do the measurements. Those measurements go to city council where there'll be a hearing to refer it to ordinance. So the whole process can take anywhere between 6 to 8 weeks before you see the poles go up.
Okay, great.
Okay, you're all set, ma'am.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, next item on the agenda now are the regular request for handicap spots. The first one is a resident at 74 Fulton Street. She's here. Landlord does not allow off-street parking, and there are spots available right in front of the house. So I make a motion that we approve handicap parking for 74 Fulton Street.
Motion to approve.
Natalie seconds it. Anyone opposed to it? Clerk, can you do roll call, please?
Motion to approve handicap spot for 74 Fulton Street. Helen?
Yes.
Natalie?
Yes.
Sergeant Dolan?
Yes.
Officer Farris?
Yes. Okay, it's approved, ma'am.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
May I ask a question? I'm sorry.
Yes.
I'm here on behalf of my mother. She's gonna be 79 years old. Is it possible that she get it on the site? Cause we're having to pay for plowing, or I'm outside shoveling when we just had the blizzard. The landlord doesn't show up, and I fell on black ice on the property because he decided to hide the rock salt to retaliate.
On the side of what?
My mom and I park in the driveway now, but she called him on February 14th, asking him to come to the house.
I got all that in your application.
I just wanted to know if she can have it on the side of the street where, when you plow, that's the side that it doesn't matter.
No, it has to go in front
It's right in
of
front
where
of
she
the house.
lives.
That's where it is. Thank
Yep.
you, that's the only question.
Okay.
I really appreciate your time.
You're welcome. Next is 552 North Underwood Street. Yeah. That house is way in the back, right? It's not on the street?
No, there's a business in the back, and the business owns the driveway. And I've already gotten 2 tickets for using it when I end up parking there, because there's no parking.
Okay, so they don't allow you to use the driveway?
No,
All right, multifamily house, no driveway. Do you have your proper address with the registry?
yes.
Good.
Yep.
Okay, I make a motion that we approve
It's,
552 North Underwood Street.
It Fall River, I think the registry had it as Westport, but I changed it in the system, they just don't send you another ID, they
Yep.
tell you to put a sticker.
All right, very good.
Okay.
I make a motion to approve. Helen seconds it. Anyone opposed? Madam Clerk, can you do roll call, please?
Motion to approve handicap space at 552 North Underwood Street. Helen?
Yes.
Natalie?
Yes.
Sergeant Dolan?
Yes.
Officer Farris?
Okay, that's approved. You're all set, ma'am.
Thank you.
Next is 292 Durfee Street. Woman's in the back there. It's just not clear on the application. I'm guessing that, how old is the child?
She's gonna be 25.
If they're considered a child, I do. All right, because it just didn't say that in the application. So you're the child's caretaker?
Yes.
Same thing though, Tom. Did you check, can you check that address? It is good? Okay. No off-street parking available, no driveway. I make a motion that we approve 292 Durfee Street.
Second?
Officer Farris seconds it. Anyone opposed to approving it? Madam Clerk, did you roll call, please?
Motion to approve handicap spot for 292 Durfee Street. Helen?
Yes.
Natalie?
Yes.
Sergeant Dolan?
Yes, approve it.
Officer Farris?
Yes.
Okay, it's approved, ma'am. You're all set.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Next is 272 June Street. 272 June. I make a motion that we table 272 June Street. Natalie seconded, I think?
Helen,
Ellen did.
talk slow.
I thought she was a ventriloquist for a second there.
We're gonna
Anyone
table it.
opposed to tabling 272 June Street? Madam Clerk, can you do roll call, please?
Motion to table 272 June Street for no show. Helen,
Yes.
Natalie,
Yes.
Sergeant Dolan,
Yes.
Officer Farris.
Yes. Okay, that'll be tabled. Okay, on to miscellaneous. A request for a timed parking space at 1942 South Main Street. They don't have to be present for that. Exactly as they're requesting it, I make a motion that it be approved. 30-minute parking between the hours of 8 AM and 5 PM, Monday through Friday. It's a temporary staffing agency in a residential, at the bottom of a residence, actually. So there's 2 spots right in front of the house. So I make a motion that we approve their request for 30-minute timed parking between the hours of 8 AM and 5 PM on Monday through Friday. Anyone-
Second.
Helen seconds it. Anyone opposed? Madam Clerk, can you do roll call, please?
Motion to approve time signs for 30 minutes at 1942 South Main Street. Helen,
Yes.
Natalie.
Yep.
Sergeant Dolan.
Yes.
Officer Farris.
Yes.
Okay, that's approved. Next is, I guess we're just going through the motions here. Granite Street, they're looking to have us give the blessing to make it a one-way street from Purchase to Rock Street, going in an easterly direction and placing a stop sign on Granite Street for eastbound traffic. It's already been
What happened was,
accepted by the council.
right, so Granite Street was not a public way, it was a private way. It was paved and it went through all the procedures to accept it as a public way. I was under the assumption that they would approve the one-way as well and the stop sign, but it wasn't talked about, it's just approving the street. So it's going through us here to approve it a one-way and put up the stop sign, do not enter and all that stuff.
I make a motion that we accept this and approve it.
Second.
Officer Farris seconds it. Anyone opposed to it? Madam Clerk, can you do roll call, please?
Roll call to accept Granite Street as a one-way with a stop sign at Granite and Rock. Helen,
Yes.
Natalie?
Yes.
Sergeant Dolan?
Yes.
Officer Farris?
Yes.
Okay, that's passed as well. Third item under miscellaneous are the, I'm guessing everybody here now, the residents of the Atlantic Boulevard area.
Should we do this first?
Is everybody left here from Atlantic Boulevard now? Nobody's here for anything else? Okay. What I say isn't rock solid. I'm gonna accept your input, but here's my proposal at least. I said it at the last meeting too. Atlantic Boulevard's a public street just as much as North Main Street or South Main Street's a public street. I know some of the neighbors would love it if it was a private way and then solve all your issues, but it's a public street. What I'd like to do is not allow parking on the west side of the street, on the water side of the street. However, because there are houses there, I want to allow parking on the east side of the street. That's what I'm thinking right now, and I know some people are gonna say, well, we have drug-addicted people that come down here, and I understand that, but, and I know we're wearing uniforms, but this is the traffic board. So we're here for the traffic aspect of it. If you have questions about illegal activities going on down there, that would be for your neighborhood meetings and reporting things to the police department, but I'll allow everybody to speak. My leaning right now is to allow parking, like I said, on the east side, and don't allow it on the west side of the street. I guess if anybody, if you're loud enough, you don't have to get up either. The woman in the back's got a hand up.
I have the only house that's on the west side. Unfortunately, I have the house that survived the hurricane. So my house is on the west side, so no one can come visit me if they can't park in front of my house. I know at one time they said dusk to dawn, so at night I would have to say, well, you stayed here too long, you gotta go home. My best friend, well, I went with her when she had a cancer problem. can hardly walk. So saying, oh, she could park on the side street, you should come down at night and see if there's any spots on that side street. There aren't. And she really does have apathy in her, myopathy in her feet. And she can't fit in the house. I'm the only house in effect. And you know what? It didn't matter before when you couldn't park on that side because I didn't have signs in front of my house. You couldn't park up and you couldn't park down. But that house, you could park your car in front to go let you bring the duck bread in because we feed the ducks and the swans and do the stuff that we need to do. And now, or come over to the grocery store and you don't want to park in the driveway, have to carry it farther. So I would like an exemption. I don't want handicaps. She comes Wednesdays. We have, she comes to watch TV till late one day a week. But I don't understand why all these years it's been fine. I don't care about the signs down the bottom. That's fine. I don't have a problem with them.
You live all the way down the south end of it, right?
Around the corner, the only
How about
house
if we
that's in the
do
water.
between signs?
There's no sign there.
We can put them.
I don't want a sign there. I like it just the way it is.
That you can park there.
Where we have,
her
like,
house.
my idea, no parking on the west side between these signs and make the signs end just before your
Yeah,
house.
that's perfect. That's what it was.
That doesn't
And
hurt
that's
anybody,
perfect. I have
right?
no problem with that.
She's the only one that lives on that side of the
Yeah.
street.
Yeah,
That's
the
it.
house.
Everybody else lives the opposite
Right.
side.
So when it's a snowstorm, you're telling those people they can't go park over there because that's where you can't park. Maybe that's the side you should park on. I don't know, I don't care. As long as you can park in front of my house, I don't care, because I can't have visitors if not. I have space for
So-
two cars walk into the driveway,
We
which I
can
have.
make it no parking anytime. Instead of saying no parking this side, we can make it no parking anytime and end just before our house as well.
That's what I mean.
I would rather do that because if you do no parking between signs, I'm gonna have to do quite a few because if I have one down here, one all the
No,
way, they're
make
gonna say,
this-
I didn't
make-
see the sign.
Again, this is still a work in progress though. I mean, no, you should write that in pencil probably.
I would really,
Make it,
that's all
doesn't have to
I'm
be
looking for. I
between
appreciate
signs.
that.
Make it no parking this side, but make that end just prior to her house so people can park on that side.
Okay.
I appreciate that. Thank you so much.
That doesn't affect anybody else in the
I'm
community.
done, I'm done.
What's
We
your-
all have sympathy for you too, I
Excuse
just wanna
me.
let you know.
I can
We
tell.
all have sympathy
I
for
can
your
tell.
situation.
Excuse
We
me.
really do.
What's the
It's
address?
217 Atlantic Boulevard.
Thank you.
So they're going north or south?
South.
Going south?
She's the, like the
She's
southernmost
towards-
house on the
yeah.
west side.
She's the one on the water.
The only house on the west side.
Okay.
There's
nobody else in
Until you get down in the red place, then there's.
So we'll make the signs end before her house. All right, anybody else have any input?
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am?
I have two questions. She did mention, parking bans, which in that neighborhood, you have to park on the west side during a parking ban. So will Atlantic Boulevard be allowed to park on the east side during a parking ban, or what will
So,
happen?
we do have streets throughout the city that the west side, a perfect example, half of Rock Street, you can't park on the west side, so the cars stay on the east side. So Atlantic Boulevard will go on the list so that when there is a parking ban, all the officers will know that the vehicles that are on the east side are not to be tagged because we're not gonna have them going back and
Right.
forth because it could be confusing.
Yep.
So,
Yes.
if it says no parking during a parking ban, you just stay on the east side.
Okay, that's great to have that clear, so everybody's on the same
Yeah.
page.
That
Then
would-
my second question is, past her house is an emergency entrance and exit for the treatment plant.
Yes.
Very often, there's vehicles parked there, trailers parked there, etc. So I don't know, and again, I have no horse in this race, it's whatever's best for all of you, and that's the only reason I ever started this, was because I was asked to help. No horse in the race. Is it possible that a sign be put there for no parking also? Because I know they do have that issue.
I just had an issue this morning in that very spot.
Yep, and people have been putting sometimes boats in and out of the water there, which they're not supposed to do.
Nope.
So that's like another problem that needs to be
That would
addressed.
be confusing, I think, because now you're putting more of those no parking this side signs.
Is Sergeant Dolan,
Or can they put signs on the fence that say emergency entrance and exit treatment plant only, something?
It does
They
already
have
say
that.
that.
Yeah.
They don't
They
care,
have-
people don't care.
No,
They don't listen.
I mean, we can do no parking anytime.
They have that.
is
But
no
if
parking.
if we had the sign
I
in
know.
that woman's house,
Then we call cops.
we would have to put more signs again.
Maybe at that location, we can do no parking between signs, so that it wouldn't affect where she lives.
You got the signs, put them up.
They'll park right in between the signs.
Yeah, they don't care.
That's-
They don't
yeah.
care.
And then they get a ticket.
And
Now,
then
this
it
is-
messes up our view, or they take
Counselor.
off right before you get there.
So this is past 217
Correct.
Atlantic Boulevard.
Correct.
So,
And it's a fair distance.
okay.
I mean, it's not, what would you say, maybe
It's like
50
roughly a
feet,
block and a half.
75 feet?
From 217.
Did you have a question, sir?
Just to make note that the signs that currently are
Yeah.
up in front of my house, which is the corner of Duke and Atlantic Boulevard, say no parking between signs. Those were the signs that I think you guys went down and did a traffic assessment and said that the road was a little too narrow there because of where the barriers are going into that entrance to the water
Yeah,
treatment.
it gets
signs are
really
still
thin
up?
over there.
Those two signs are still up.
They don't care.
No parking between
You were
signs
taking
is
them all
what
down,
they
right?
say.
That was the plan?
I think those were the only two signs that got
Left out,
approved a
yeah.
while back.
Yeah.
All the
Yeah, but
other
they should've
signs that
all-
came
they
down,
should've all-
They're gonna
They
come down.
should have all come down.
Yeah,
Where are
those
those
still
signs
up.
located?
Duke,
Those signs are located in front of 20 Duke Street, which is Duke and Atlantic Boulevard.
Maybe that's why, because now it becomes Duke and my guys only took the signs down from Atlantic Boulevard. Could be that's why.
Well, no, it's on the
Well, no,
Atlantic
it's on
Boulevard
Atlantic
side
Boulevard.
at
It's
Duke
on the
Street.
west side.
So where
I think
Duke
it-
Street
no, just
starts,
check
it's
and
across
take
the
them
street
down.
on Atlantic Boulevard.
Okay.
So those signs are on the west side of the street. They're not on the east side of the street. They're on the water, they're on the beach side of the street. Those were left there because you deemed it necessary because that
they were
road
gonna
is
take,
narrow there.
this winter, so they were supposed to have been all taken down.
Okay, so they still exist. So now
Look at her parked
you're
on the
proposing
side.
to put those back, but there's gonna be no
Yeah, but
parking
they're
anytime?
On the west side,
That's where those signs currently exist.
yeah, so, but the east side is gonna be open for everybody now.
We realize that. Good.
The reason why I have to take down those signs is because all of this has to go into ordinance. And because this is not an emergency preamp, you're looking at maybe 2 months before you see the signs go up. You know, we're gonna try our best to get it there before the good weather comes.
Yeah, 'cause that's when it gets worse.
Right, that's why Sergeant Dolan wanted to invite everybody now to get, a decision made, get these signs up. So once we, we put everything we approve everything here, then it's gotta go to city council, ordinance committee, and all those steps.
So I've lived in that area my entire life. I've never had a problem up until a few years ago where it's so constant and it's for everyone that's just there to look at the pretty sun and take a few photos,
Yep.
there are 15 to 20 horrific things that I have to deal with. My mother's elderly, she has dementia, she gets confused, they park in front of my house, they get mad if I don't like it, and then they retaliate. So I had a girl just a month ago urinating in front of my house at 1 o'clock in the afternoon. I went outside, I'm like, what are you doing? She turned and looked at me and said, I'm going to the bathroom. So I said, I'm calling the police. Do you know what she did when I went in the house? By the time I got back to my slider, she had come in my yard, up my stairs, and was gonna come through my slider screaming at me while I'm on the phone with 911. And they can hear her on 911 screaming at me to come outside so she can F me up. Okay, when she realized and I'm like, I'm on the phone with the police through the window, she then exited my yard, sat on the barriers in front, beckoning, putting her hands up like this. I took a picture of her, I have it here. You know where she had a sweatshirt on? It said, stop the violence, it's unnecessary.
They have no respect.
Like, are you kidding me? And that's not, that's one. It is every single day, all day, multiple times a
I know all
day.
these behaviors you're telling me about.
But calling the police does nothing. I've watched cops when I've called because there were teenagers at that entrance that they were just talking about, drinking, physically drinking, urinating on the rocks, falling all over the place. I called the police talked to them, I heard them laugh a little bit, and the police left. They were laughing, they thought it was so funny, and the cop said someone in the area called the police because after he left, they were like, ha ha ha, at all the houses. That is not fair.
Well, I think the discussion here, like Sergeant Dolan said, was worry about the parking.
Right, well,
During the
because
day-
the parking is what causes
It all
all that.
stems
It
from-
stems from the parking.
But we can't, it's just,
During-
it's unusual because we're in uniforms. because
No,
we're
I
in
know,
traffic
you don't
light.
have any control of
But these are
that.
things that, and we're also in the special ops division, so if you bring these up at neighborhood meetings, not only will you get the normal sector cars that can go down there, but our special ops cars can make it a point. We even have guys, they have to call it out, whatever, every hour. Put me at Atlantic Boulevard, checking on the cars there.
Yeah.
So that's something like, I'm not brushing it off.
So
But that's something you bring up at your neighborhood meetings.
you say like, oh, you know, it's a public street like any other street, but it's really not like any other street. I mean, if I lived on Fifth Street or on Plymouth Avenue where traffic and people and parks and stores, there isn't. It is dead-end residential streets. There is literally
But
nothing down there,
unfortunately-
no
Right,
throughways.
There's
but
nothing
many, many years
loitering.
ago, but many years ago, it was made a public way. So at one
In
point.
1938?
I don't know what year, that can be found if you residents wanna really know, but at some point Atlantic Boulevard became a public way.
Yeah.
Maybe when they were building more homes down there and it became more like, but
Right.
the thing that we're gonna do is,
Yeah.
once the signs are up and are in ordinance, PCOs will be going down there during the day. After 4 o'clock, they go home, so with any activity that you find, it will have to be through the police department.
So like where my house is situated, my whole front of my house is all glass rooms. It's
Mine
all
too.
sliders and glass.
I know, I've been
When
down
they
there.
sit there, I'm in my robe. I can't even enjoy my view. I'm the one that has to suffer.
And they put
Plus,
the music.
I have to pay the top dollar price for taxes, right? Oh, they don't let me skimp on that. They know right away, hey,
All
you
of
missed your
us
payment or
have.
whatever, right? But yet I have to clean up all that trash. They have to clean up trash. We all have to, do I get a stipend? Hey, maybe we can get a stipend off my taxes for that? I mean, for dealing, that's not fair. Why should I be cleaning that?
The other thing you have to remember, manpower, and I say that for myself, for my department, as a city, we're a very busy city, we're active. To turn that whole street into a residential parking only, it would be really difficult to keep up with that, tagging vehicles that park there because they don't belong there.
Well-
And then you're gonna have cookouts, and you're gonna have family coming over. So it opens up a can of worm of, how many tickets do you issue out for your residential parking only? And then it's a public way.
Okay, but wait a minute. If you deem that place no parking, the only people, you don't have to actually go down there and tag cars because nobody's gonna have a problem with it until someone parks there, at which point you'll get a phone call.
Right.
So I don't see that as a problem.
Okay.
I can give you an example. Newport, Rhode Island, Ocean Drive.
Public way though, that's different. They have parking lots. It's a
Answer my
specific
question.
place that they
There are
bought for that
houses, there
reason.
are residential there's one in particular, it's a dead end, right onto the point of the ocean. There are multi-million-dollar mansions there. Those residents have fought to make it no parking, and they don't win in Newport, Rhode Island.
Yeah.
It's a public street.
I see
So
it
we have
happening
to
there
have
a
a
little
blinded-
more,
That's
that's a
also a
tourist
tourist area.
town, and it is centrally focused on that. When you buy a property on the 12-mile drive, you know what you're buying into. You know you're buying into the fact that it's a throughway of traffic for that specific drive. There are also several parking lots, and there is a public person that comes and cleans it all the
That's
time.
not what
And
the
there
street
are
I'm
people
talking about.
down there.
No, I know what you're talking about, the little
drugs.
side streets people park on to get onto that walk and things like that. It's like dead ends with fencing and everything, they're very small. I know what you're talking
They
about.
those residents can't win the battle with Newport.
Right, but they know
Because
what they're buying when they buy that.
As nice as you live right there on the water, which is nice, but as long as it's a public street, we can't say, but this particular public street, we can't allow the public to go to.
It'll be everywhere.
I have to think of it like, I know you don't, but I have to think of it like North Main or Fifth Street or whatever, those are public streets,
That's different.
but you live on a public street.
Well, and you have to remember, I've driven down there, and I didn't really, to be honest with you, I didn't even realize I was in Fall River until I'm like, okay, I'm in Fall River. It is beautiful down
Yeah,
there.
it looks a little
And
bit
I
like
think
Tiverton.
people have a right to go down there and sit by the water, watch the view. It's just the other individuals who
Right,
don't.
but for what you're speaking of, there are 5. Okay? And what we're speaking of is droves.
That's
It is
right.
constant, it is
That's
never
right.
ending.
Wow.
And it's not even
Yeah,
just at
awesome.
night. And it's not even just in the summer. It's all times of day.
That's
Like I
right.
said, I have pictures in
That's
here.
right.
We had to knock in a girl. She came down and did drugs right in front of the sign that says no parking. The guy she was in the car with that gave her the drugs saw she was ODing. Jet. When I turned around, he was gone. She's like that. They had to knock in her twice. Okay, that's where it says literally no parking. That's where it comes parked. I have pictures.
During,
Okay, I mean, they don't care.
But
During the
just
blizzard.
during the day, the traffic police or the traffic cops can give somebody a ticket or have them move, but at night, can the police officers tell them to move?
Absolutely.
And then
If they're parked
you
in
get
that
Once the
spot.
signs-
Once they leave at
Once
4,
the signs are up,
Yeah.
they can tell them at any time
at
to
any
move.
time.
Okay, that's.
But I'll tell you this, call as soon as it's there, because I'm not gonna lie, people parking where they're not supposed to park gets low on our stack,
Of
obviously.
course,
There's-
that's not a priority,
There's
yes,
overdoses.
yes.
But if you call, we never don't go. I know people say the cops never showed up.
Right, but 30 minutes later, they may have already drank their
Maybe.
nips,
Right.
dumped them on the beach
But what I'm
and-
saying is if you bring this enthusiasm to your neighborhood meeting, we can have the special ops division guys making a point to go down there every hour, I'm not gonna say every hour,
Right,
but
but
whatever.
whatever it
Visit
is,
more
yeah.
often.
On top of the regular sector cars. So you're gonna get the regular sector cars going there and our special ops guys, when they're working, they'll go down there and check on it. And once the word gets out that the chances are pretty good the cops are gonna show up, maybe.
It will get,
Maybe.
it will get less, because a lot of them, like I
Right.
said, are there to do things that they shouldn't be. I get a lot of Rhode Island traffic all of a sudden, because they think they can do things legally on the beach over there, because they can't do it in Rhode Island legally, so they come and do it over here legally, because it's recreational acceptable or whatever. You know, so you have 80 million nice spots in Rhode Island, why are you coming to Poop Beach?
Not only that, but
I mean,
I
it's a
just wanna
sewage
say,
plant, for
It's
Christ's
not only about
sake.
the drugs and everything else that they leave on the ground, but I've had my son in the yard, people pull up with children, let their children come in my yard to play with my
Yes.
son, and they go
Yes.
down on the shore, and I'm saying, if this kid gets hurt in my yard, I'm getting sued.
Wow.
And where are they? They don't know if I'm some psycho, and they let their kids come play in my yard.
During the blizzard, during the parking ban, I had people park in front of my house. I mean, it's a blizzard, and there's a parking ban, and they're parked down there.
You know what?
Even that won't deter them.
As a neighborhood person, I suggest, from my experience, whatever you're saying, and you and all of you, it happens the same thing in my old neighborhood. You have to call the police every time you have a chance. Let them build up a record of what's going on in your
I
neighborhood.
called the
But
police, they actually
Yeah.
told me,
How many calls?
they
But
actually
you
came and
get
spoke to
listed.
me
Your
and
neighbor-
told me
There's
nothing we can do about it.
Because there's no sign.
But the
Yeah,
signs,
oh, wow, but if there's drugs, if there's things that they're
Oh,
saying,
yeah.
people overdosing. So you just keep calling the police, and that's gonna be on a list. How many times was the cops called to Atlantic Boulevard?
Yeah.
How many times the police officers were called to Duke Street? That's gonna be listed, that's gonna stay on there,
Yeah.
and that's gonna bring up a red flag.
Yeah.
the signs are gonna help too, because it's
And
a
that's-
tool for the cops to use.
I'm just saying that from experience, that's what happened in my
And for us to
neighborhood.
use also to confront the people that are out there. Hey, no parking,
Yes.
can't you read?
Yeah.
And then you know what we get.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Retaliated,
No,
threatened.
listen,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I try to be nice, I try to tell them they're gonna get a ticket. If you park here, you're gonna get a ticket, so that's what I try to tell them.
I realize this may not be the venue for this, but I'm gonna throw it out there. We have gotten subsidies and grants recently for cameras. Would there be any possible way to put a camera on the south end going north
Yeah.
and the
That would
north
be
end
wonderful.
facing
I
south?
got 8 on my house.
That this stuff
On
could
one
be
on each
recorded
end.
by the police department, so that it say something, you come too late, and this lady's
Yeah,
saying, look,
there's
this is
proof.
what happened. You'll have it on film, you'll know what happened, and probably have the tag on the car to know who was there.
That's an
I
excellent
can bring it
idea.
up.
There was one
And I
other,
think that would definitely be a deterrent for at least some people.
there you go.
there's one other thing that I wanted to speak to, and we brought it up at the last meeting, the litter.
I got 8 cameras in my house facing the
We
boulevard.
talked about putting some no littering signs up in conjunction with the no parking signs. And the no littering signs were supposed to carry a heavy fine. There are no litter signs up on the north side of Jan's house, but there's no fine attached to those signs. Now, that's another big thing down there, that in addition to the no parking.
Constant trash.
The trash that's thrown on the ground down there in the middle of the intersection at the bottom of Mount Hope Street and
During the
Atlantic
day.
Boulevard is incredible.
We have two different signs. We have one sign that says no littering, but then we do have the bigger ones that has the ordinance and the fine. So we could put a couple of those.
Could we please, in
in
addition to the no
certain-
parking sign, can we have those put where the no parking signs are, please?
On camera or whatever, then you could say, hey, it's on
I
camera.
just got a quick question about the signs. I live at 102 Atlantic Boulevard, which is more north of Mount Hope Avenue. Now, that side of Atlantic Boulevard, on the west, the signs will go there also, all the way down to the dirt road?
All the way down Atlantic Boulevard up to that woman's house.
And there will be like a sign every so many feet?
Well, you don't wanna have 30 signs down
No,
there
no, but-
either. So what
Right.
we
A
normally
reasonable
do,
amount.
right, what we normally do is, so if you're going down Mount Hope and you get there, there's gonna be one right in front.
Yep.
Then probably 20 feet will start another 20 feet, another 20 feet. So they will be quite a few of them,
Okay.
but I'm not gonna have 5 feet.
Nobody-
No, no,
Yeah.
no, I
We
mean,
wanna
you
have
don't
one.
have
They
to
didn't
bother
see
you
the
too much.
signs.
A reasonable amount, yeah.
Just do me a favor, if signs do get knocked down, you don't know if anyone's gonna knock it down during the night. If that happens, call my department right away, my guys will go down, put the sign back up, okay?
And the signs are gonna be south of Jan's house, also all the way to the entrance to the sewage treatment plant.
At that location, there'll be no parking between signs,
Yeah.
so it won't be confusing
Okay.
with the no
And
parking.
then where about where the, in front of Jess's house, where the barriers jump out into the street there? There's no parking between signs from the last one at the top of the barrier, the north side of the barrier, all the way down to the fence, the fence line where the water treatment plant is. Is it possible to put a sign on the other side of the barrier there, so that includes that area?
There is no, there's one at the end of,
There's one all the way down,
Right, yeah.
but there's nothing in front of your house and Jess's house.
No, the one that's actually in front of Duke Street is a car length away from where the Jersey barriers start, so people literally make it a point to go in front of that
They
sign,
park on the other side
thinking
of the
that
sign.
it means that way. So they're like, oh, I'm in front of it, I can park here.
Well, they're all gonna be replaced. Any other input? Sir, what's your name?
40 years ago, I fought not to have a boat ramp there. And we had an incident on Montauk Avenue that washed out the beach, so they put riprap there. So a regular car can't go down there. But everybody now has four-wheel drive vehicles and SUVs, and they're still launching boats there. And they're leaving the trailers parked in. If I leave, they'll be in front of my house.
A big truck and a trailer, you have to stare at that all day.
That's not.
That is not fair.
Can we block it off?
Maybe a chain.
It's an
across
emergency,
Oh, a barrier.
it's an emergency
I
vehicle.
would do a
Barrier
chain,
from
I
that
would do
way, put it there.
we have concrete barriers.
Yes.
Yes,
Oh,
right,
right.
access to it.
But I don't know if an emergency.
You can't block it off because the
It is
thing
used
was,
for
the fire
Fire
department
department
says
has used
you have to
that
have access.
too.
Because they have four-wheel drive vehicles for
And
the
the fire
rescue boat.
department have used it a couple of times, so it is for emergency.
We're not gonna be able to do
But a chain would be nice.
No, just a sign saying, not a
You have
public
a
boat ramp.
You have to put the state.
Emergency use only?
No,
That's not a boat ramp.
But that's city property, it's not state.
Yeah, because like
Yeah,
all
but
the
it-
officials that would be
Not
using
a
it in
boat.
emergency would have access to be able to unlock the chain.
No launching of boats. Your site budget's gonna be maxed out.
Big giant truck and a trailer, and then they sit there for 12 hours fishing out God knows where, and then they come back, all the fish water and empty crap in front of my house, smelling,
Has
flies.
nothing to respond to.
Yeah. And hers even worse, she doesn't even have,
Yes.
so if they
What
come back
about-
from hers, that's her,
What
her
about
gate
if you
right
were
there.
to, what about if you were to put a gate, and obviously the fire department's only gonna access that if they have their boat. So the boat would have, so they'd have a key that they could lock
Yeah,
and
right.
unlock
Even
the
a
gate,
chain.
that they can go through, close the gate.
The only issue is if different stations have to respond there, they
Who would have
make
the
sure they
key,
all have the
right?
key.
Yeah.
We're gonna come up with a no boat, then if somebody launches a boat there, another ticket, another fine we can come up with for it. I'm sure it's not a boat there every day.
There is.
Summertime.
there is-
Summertime there is, it's literally every day.
It's the same players doing the same things
So-
every day.
The sign that I'm gonna put at that location, I can put, not a boat ramp, boats not allowed, or vehicles at.
Ooh,
Boats are
I like
vehicles.
that. Yeah, that sounds wonderful.
Any other input?
I'm gonna need some, maybe counselor, you can go down there with me, but I think I need someone
Walk it through it.
to walk me in these locations so that when the signs are all approved and my guys go down there, we're putting the signs where they're supposed to go. So I'll contact you and then maybe you can get one of the neighbors and we can meet down there in a
I'm
couple of weeks.
284.
You can come sit on my
Knock
deck.
on my door
Do you
anytime.
serve liquor?
Sure.
Yes, we do.
Yeah, get that
I-
Make sure it's punch out time.
I'll get this sign done, 'cause this sign doesn't need to, this sign doesn't need to go into ordinance, so I'm gonna get it going. It takes about a week to have it made, I'll do a couple of them, and then we'll do 24 by 24, they're nice and big.
Yeah.
And then we'll see if that works.
That sounds
I
wonderful.
think if you did a traffic study down there, I think you'd be shocked.
Exactly.
I really think you'd be shocked
Oh,
at the
yeah.
amount of.
An undercover one, so that nobody knows who and when.
It's a conveyor belt.
Because I'm
Yeah.
telling you, it is
Put a toll in
crazy.
down there, follow the be
I
right.
don't, I don't even need cable. I have it's constant, it's nonstop.
Day and night, I go to work at midnight and there's cars parked down there.
Yep.
I,
Oh, yeah.
I get up at, 5 in the morning, there's cars parked there.
Yeah.
It's all the
I
time.
leave the house at
We
5.
spent almost $10,000 cutting half of our yard out to go along our driveway, to make our driveway bigger, so we always have a place to park.
Okay,
Video it.
any other input?
Pamela, you better video
All right.
that
You ready
show
for
so
this?
we can see it on TV.
Yeah, we need
Done.
to, all right, we need to make sure.
Doing my job.
We need to make sure we approve
So,
what I
We'll sell
said.
tickets.
All right.
Motion to put no parking on the west side of Atlantic Boulevard up until 217 Atlantic Boulevard.
Do you want it to say no parking anytime or no parking this side? It doesn't matter.
This side of the street,
Okay,
doesn't matter.
okay.
And then from 217 south until you get to that entrance, no parking between signs, which is also on the west side of Atlantic Boulevard.
Right.
And third will be that sign for the boat ramp, that is not a boat ramp.
Right.
Boats are not allowed, boats or vehicles. And that's my motion. Anyone care to second that?
Second.
I think Helen beats you. Anyone opposed
Oh, we
to
got
my
somebody else.
three-pronged motion?
Okay.
Nobody's opposed, Madam Clerk, can you do roll call,
Okay.
please?
I'm not gonna repeat everything, so
I
I
have-
just said,
okay.
everyone knows. So Helen,
Yes.
Natalie.
Yes.
Sergeant Dolan.
Yes.
Officer Farris.
Yes. Okay, that motion passes. Ann, did you have something else to say?
How far, on the west side of the street, how far are you gonna go to, dirt, like, on a dirt road?
Right to the entrance of where it becomes a dirt road, basically.
Okay, because my house is on the dirt road, I'm 0 Atlantic Boulevard. My daughter is 2 Atlantic Boulevard. And what's gonna happen is they're all gonna park in front of my house.
That's right.
I already got the drunks, the drug addicts, the sex,
Yeah.
everything there.
You do too.
Yeah, you know, so, I don't want, I love when I get home and I can't get in my driveway.
Right.
Somebody's parked in my driveway.
Do it then.
And I'm in the directional line.
Join the
I'm
club.
Wanna go by my garage.
I feel bad
And
for you
they
guys.
get money at me.
Yeah, and you're the jerk.
Yeah.
You know,
They look at me like I'm the eggs. Yep.
I mean, I know the status of the dirt road for a long time has supposedly been going under a change with some deal
Yeah,
with
'cause
all
that's
the
not,
bread.
where she lives is probably not even approved yet. It's not an
No,
approved road.
I don't think so. It's still a dirt road,
Yeah.
people pop up down there all the time.
0.
I'm gonna tell you,
Just the dirt
I've
road.
been out at my
Paper
pool.
road.
and
Yeah,
some
definitely,
guy goes
counselor,
up
I'm gonna be giving you a
side
call.
Yes, and relieved himself right there, and I stood off, and I'm like, hey, you know, they feel like, everybody else does. I said, well, tell me where you live, we'll go there, you know? So if that's not an accepted street, that could be private way, no.
We can put,
Whatever.
if, we can put signs that says private
There
way.
used to be a sign that said private way, but for some reason it's gone.
Disappeared, yeah. We can put that, we have
I
those
think it
signs.
just got so old that.
Oh, I do have
Fell
one.
off. Yeah.
Oh, we
Okay.
got one more.
I just have to rescind the handicap spots.
Yeah,
Okay, we're moving on now.
thank you.
Rescinding of the following handicap spots. Eastern Avenue, Dwelly Street, Harriman Street, Barnaby Street, and Division Street. Thank you. I make a motion that we rescind those signs. Natalie?
Thank you all.
I'll see you under the umbrella.
Anyone opposed to rescinding those signs? Madam Clerk, you do roll call.
Striking out handicap spaces, Helen.
Easy.
Natalie.
Yes.
Dolan.
Sergeant Dolan. Officer Farris. And motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
Yes.